Now let's go into the details and discuss how to deal with strategy maps in BSC Designer Professional. First of all, I suggest to review an existing strategy map so that I could do references to some of the elements later, and it will be more clear what we are going to do when we will practice the ideas discussed. So here's a typical business scorecard map, and here on the top we have a strategy mission text. Then we have for perspective, finance, customers, internal business process, learning and growth. And of course, these four perspectives are fully customizable. For example, some non-profit organizations would like to rename finance to stakeholders' interest, and I know some organizations prefer to add additional perspectives here, like, for example, resources or talent management or something like this. Inside each perspective, we have some business goals. Like, for example, here I have increasing revenue is a business goal. And let me magnify. And this business goal is built from several blocks. So first of all, I see its icon, I see its name. If needed, I can tweak some options and showcase here the description of this goal. Then I have two blocks, small blocks here on the left, the green one and gray one on the right. The green block stands for leading performance of this goal, and the gray block stands for logging part of this goal. Then we have all these lines are indicators. Respectively, the software uses the same colors for gray colors for logging indicators and green colors for leading indicators. And finally, below, if we have some initiatives aligned with this goal, we'll see it in this way, the white line with this clipboard icon. Also, you might have noted that these goals are linked by these connections. So this connection is visual, and it's also the connection by data. So I can see here that this goal, management capabilities, is used as a leading indicator here for this goal. So that's a typical strategy map, and if you miss something, you can always look at this legend that explains us what we have here. So green color for leading, gray color for logging indicators, and the rest is clear. Okay. Also, I wanted to mention that in BSC Designer Professional, you are not limited in the number of the maps that you can have in one scorecard. For example, on this scorecard, we have this main map, and I also have these additional maps. So it's up to us, and we can always switch between these maps. We can rename a map if needed. We can add additional map. That's it. Also, here on the toolbar, we have some interesting functions. For example, we can export this map to a picture file so that you could insert it into some presentation software and use for further discussion with your colleagues. Also, it's very important to have a possibility to print this map, and we have some features that will make the printing job much easier. You can select a printable areas. That's useful, especially if you have a larger map. And you can also decide if you want, you can also set up some additional settings for printing, like, for example, the resolutions that you want to use on this map. So it helps to print strategy map on a larger paper sizes. Now, sometimes you will use BSC Designer Professional during your presentations, And sometimes you will do some discussions right in the software, probably changing something, adding something, and that's the benefit of the software, of course. And if you are in this mode, I would suggest you to go full screen using this option here. In strategy menu, you have full screen. That basically gives you a possibility to use your screen space more effectively. When you finish, just click Escape key on your keyboard to get back to the normal mode. Now, let's create some new scorecard and practice with the strategy map creation. I will focus on how to deal with the strategy map. So I will do this step fast to create new scorecard. And as you can see, placement, I will choose this style, the most popular one. As you can see now, our map is empty. So we're going to fill it in so that you will know how to do this. So company mission statement, how to change it. The right way to change it is to go to KPI tab and pick the root element. When you do so, you will see here mission text field. So here's where you put your mission statement. And then when you get back to strategy map, you can update it. And you will see it here on the top. The perspectives. Here we have these 4 perspectives. If you need additional one, you can create it. Call it new perspective, for example. And you will see that it appeared here on the strategy map. As I mentioned, the strategy map will be updated, will be generated automatically. Again, I don't need it right now. You can also simply rename this perspective as well. For example, I can just put here the name finance. Later we'll see that it was renamed. Okay, now let's add some goals and some indicators. Well, we're not going to talk in the details about how to set up indicators, so I will do it quickly just to showcase the idea. So finance, let's put here increase revenue goal. Customers, let's put here better product and better service. Now I'm switching back to strategy map and let's see what we have here so far. I have here this customer's perspective with 2 goals, and I have here this goal in financial perspective. Very easy. Now let's imagine that we need to align some indicators with this goal. Again, in a separate video we discuss how to do this, all the nuances about this, but I will do it just quickly. I'm picking the goal, clicking this button, new indicator, and I enter here some indicator. For example, it can be customer satisfaction rate and for example, it can be response speed. I have created 2 indicators and I can see that they are visualized right below the goal. Again, they all are gray. It means that all these indicators are logging. Probably the customer satisfaction rate is a logging indicator, but response time, in some sense, it's leading indicator in the context of this goal. So when I change it, the color is changed. And well, I will enter some random data so that you will see where this data goes to. So the logging indicator goes to the logging part of the goal, and leading indicator, and the performance of leading indicator goes to the leading part of the goal. Again, we discuss this in a separate video, so I won't talk about this right now. We are not obligated to deal with KPIs and goals from this tab. Actually, sometimes, and that's what I prefer, sometimes it's easier to work directly from strategy map. How to do this? Let's imagine that we need to create a goal in internal perspective. And I can just pick here this option, align with, and click new. And when clicking, what goal we have there? Okay, so we had better product. Probably we can introduce some testing. And here I pick where I want to create it in parent. And in a few seconds it's created. And let's create another goal in the same way. For better service, probably we can create some CRM, for example. Excellent. What else can we do from the strategy map? We can link these goals. We're not just linking them to explain some idea visually. We want to link some goals by the data. We want to explain the cause and effect logic on this strategy map. And what cause and effect logic do we have here? So the logic is this one. To increase revenue, we need to build a better product and we need to build a better customer service. And to build a better customer service, we need to create CRM. And to build a better product, we need to implement internal testing. So I can explain this logic directly on the map. I need to pick this tool, or probably this one. I prefer this line. And link one goal to another. In this case, the software will ask me this question: if I would like to link the lagging part of one goal to the leading part of another goal. I will agree and I will comment what does it mean. It means that the performance of this goal measured by its logging indicators, let's create some logging indicator for this goal, can be, for example, implementation progress. It's not the best indicator in this case, but let's use it for the example. So now I have login indicator aligned with this goal, and the performance of this login indicator is translated up to this goal in form of leading indicator. That's what we agreed with when we created the link between these goals. So now I will do the links quickly without going to the details, because it's actually the same logic and we'll see what we have as a result. Okay, so now we have this strategy map. It's pretty clear now how the cause and effect logic is explained on this map, how these goals are linked, and they are not just linked by visual links, but also by hard connections by the indicators. So we see, for example, that to build a better customer service, we created CRM, the leading indicator here, and we created CRM and the performance of that goal was 80%, and we also changed the response speed, for example, and we validate the achieved goals, the achieved results by looking at this indicator, customer satisfaction rate, which is now 80% performance. It has 80% performance, and we translate this performance up to increase revenue goal. And I see here that our better service indicator is performing 80%. So that's the logic that we wanted to achieve with this strategy map. And now let's do one thing. Let's create some initiative, because we have some goals, some indicators, but we need to have action plan. Again, we discuss initiatives in a different video, but let's just create one. I can do it directly from strategy map. For example, if we have here better product, probably we can do here initiatives. we can add some initiative, like for example, do testing of graphical user interface. We can put some random budget here, some timeline, assign some person responsible, add some documents, some description, these things, and just click OK. And we'll see that now on this strategy map, I see this initiative aligned with this goal. And if I switch, oh, sorry, created a different map. So let's just get back. Let's just rebuild this map in this way. Okay. So we can get back to product. Click here to see the initiatives aligned with them. We can add more initiative if we need. And one trick, because sometimes I saw projects where there are many initiatives and we don't want to see all of them on strategy map, so we just need to go here in initiatives and use this checkbox to disable some of the initiatives. They will be still there, but we won't see them on strategy map. Okay. Now, when you will have many goals on your map, it might be hard to read this map because all the goals are similar, all indicators are similar. So one thing that you can use to make your life a little bit easier is to use strategic themes. For example, let's pick here better product and let's go here to context tab. On this context tab, you have this option, strategic theme. And you can pick one of the strategic themes that you have here, or you can actually create your own strategic theme. So strategic theme is a visual theme for this goal. So you can play with these options, change some colors. You have a link to some article that explains the details about why do we need strategic themes. And well, let's change the strategic theme for this to operational excellence, and probably customer service will change it to customer intimacy strategic theme. Creating CRM, probably it's operational excellence. Yeah, and product, it's not operational, obviously it's product leadership. So what changed in our strategy map? First of all, we see that these goals are now colored differently. Yeah, so the better product goal is now red. So here in the legend, I see that this color stands for product leadership strategic theme. Yeah, and for example, creating CRM is colored with this color, so it's operational excellence strategic theme. These are the colors that we can use for the map, and these colors help us to read this map a little bit easier. And also, when generating a map, we can actually generate a map that will focus only on certain strategic themes. So from this list, I can pick uncheck unnecessary themes and generate a map that will focus, for example, only on product leadership goals. And again, if you have many goals, it will make a perfect sense to review just the goals that belong to a certain strategic theme. Okay. The goals that we can have here, they actually can be developed more. So for example, we have here implementation progress. Let's rename it to just implementation, and we can add more levels here, like step 1, step 2, etc. So in this case, BSC Designer Professional will think that this is a goal with its own indicators. Probably it makes sense. Probably it doesn't. If it doesn't, if you don't want to see this implementation goal on the map, so you want to keep it here for internal purposes, but you don't want to see on strategy map, you can go to context tab and use this checkbox, display on strategy map. So now I have unchecked it, and my goal will be there, create CRM, but the sub goal will not be displayed there. And actually the same can be used for the indicators. For example, here I have better customer service. Probably I want to keep response time, response speed indicator here, in the list of my indicators, but I don't want to see it on strategy map. I don't want to overload my strategy map. So I can use this checkbox to disable the visualization of this indicator on the map. The next idea that I wanted to show you, you can see that all the indicators on this map, for example, customer satisfaction rate, they are formatted in the same way. We see some number here, then we see some chart here, then we see the name of the indicator. We can customize this, because for some indicators we need to see its current value. We switch here, change measure units. So for now, for this indicator, I will see its current value, which is 80%, and I will see this chart. But I can customize it. For example, I can visualize their stop light for the performance, and I can visualize their target value. And I can change these settings for all indicators individually. Again, to make, if you don't know how to use this drop list, what does it mean, the performance, the progress, we have a separate video in a KPI section where we discuss all this in details. Okay, I think it was a review of all most important features, and finally let's review what we have here. Here we have different types of the maps. So the one that I showed in the beginning was this one, classical one, but we also can build, for example, this overview map that will contain less details, but will also informative for certain purposes. Finally, let's do some customization of this map. First of all, I have here some goals, but I know many customers prefer to have long names for these goals. If that's your case, you can probably use this option here, item width, to change it a little bit to make sure that the default width of the business goals will be wider, so it will fit to the screen. As I mentioned before, you can create map for different strategic things using this drop list. You can also add some items to this map. You can add some rectangle and change its text. We'll find some properties on the right, some change in colors, change in alignment, these things. And one thing that you might want to use is this log button. So by default, when this item is created, it is locked. What does it mean? Let me update this map. And this item is still here. So if I unlock it and rebuild the map, it will disappear. So what's the point for this function? Sometimes you don't want to use strategic things, sometimes you just want to customize this item for some color, and in this case, don't forget to use lock function. You can use lock function for the location or for the appearance. So probably you want the software to update the location of this item automatically, but you might want to lock the appearance. Okay, I don't want to lock it now. Okay, finally, when you need to add something to this map, you can also use this drop menu where you have some selection of some items, selection of some elements. And one element that you might want to use is this one, new picture, which actually gives you an opportunity to add some picture file. So create this item, just double click on it, and you can select a picture file on your computer. And another thing that you might want to use is this text element to write some comments on your strategy map. I think we have discussed all the necessary details, As always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact our support team and we'll try to help you.